What's going on, Canfield Nation? Welcome back. Coca's Pizza, another week with the head football coach to my right, Mike Pavlansky, after a great victory in round 2 of the playoffs last week over Aurora. Coach, it's always special coming out here on Wednesday. We appreciate your time, and we're looking forward to a big one this Friday night.
Richie, always great to be with you this time of season. It means you won another game and you're playing another playoff game. So we're looking forward to that.
And talk about this team, this group, your coaching staff. This is the third consecutive season where you're going to be in the regional semifinal. Your program is very fortunate to be in this opportunity again. So kind of touch on the group of guys that you have to get to this opportunity for the third consecutive year.
Certainly you don't get to this level without great kids. Our kids are tremendous young men, and they want to work hard. They want to execute well. We have a tremendous senior class. This is the first senior class in school history that has made the 3 regional semifinals or finals. In the playoffs, and that's what they're very proud of. And we've talked about this for years, that this senior class is one that's going to be remembered. And, they've certainly made their mark on Canfield football.
How happy were you for the 28 seniors getting a victory in their final home game at Bob Dove Field last Friday night over Aurora?
It was one of the things we talked about all week long, that not only the seniors' last game, but really the 2022 last game, because that group will never be together again playing on Bob Dove Field. And, to play as well as we played, to beat a really good Aurora team the way we did, we were pleased with that.
Let's recap that game a little bit before we get to the regional semifinal coming up on Friday. Your team did play very well, a lot more comfortable in the second half than against New Philadelphia, and I think that all started with stopping that run. We emphasized Alex Tenorio last week, their guy that averaged 7 yards per carry, but you held him to 2, so you got to be happy with the run defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the number one key in any ball game at any level. You take the run away, you got a pretty good chance of winning. When teams can do both, it becomes a lot more difficult. And, our guys were locked in all week in practice, and knowing that the Tenora kid is 6'3", 6'2", 230, whatever he was, runs very hard. We had a major challenge in front of us, and our guys accepted that challenge and, learned through the week, the mistakes they were making in practice, they corrected. And, to have that type of performance defensively, to give up only 7 points to a team that was averaging 37 points, with the varsity out there, was tremendous. And even our young guys played really well, only giving up 1 touchdown against their varsity.
Now, Tenorio averaging 2 yards per carry. Aurora had to completely change their game plan. They went a lot through the air on first down, especially in that second quarter, and then they had their backup quarterback come in. So did you as a staff feel comfortable once they had to go through the air and with a backup quarterback?
We weren't comfortable until the league got extended a little bit. It was really close to the second quarter, 14-0, and, get a turnover and turn the ball right back over. They go down the field and, hit a pass on us. It's 14-7, and we got ourselves a ball game. And then offensively, we're able to get a big play from Brock, and then defensively they got the ball back, and we score again with, I think, 27 seconds left in the half, and before you know it, a 14-7 game became a 28-7 game.
That's 2 consecutive weeks now. Under 2 minutes, your team has the ball and you're able to score before the end of the half. How many reps do you get during practice? Is it an everyday thing you're practicing, that 2-minute drill?
No, we normally concentrate on our 2-minute drill on Wednesdays in practice. And, if need be, depending on the week, you may do a little bit more of it, but certainly every Wednesday. And, the thing we talk about, though, with our guys is that the last 4 minutes of the half are very critical. They've carried out the assignments to a T in a number of our ball games where we were able to score at the end of the half and get the ball at the beginning of the second half. And put some points on the board. And, the last 4 minutes of the half, first 4 minutes of the third quarter, in any ball game, very critical.
Some of your backups got some opportunity in the later half of that ball game, especially in the fourth quarter. Some guys stepped up, made some nice defensive plays. As a head coach in a regional appearance like that against a very good Aurora football team, how proud were you of your second-string guys coming in?
Really excited about the way they executed. Anytime you can get the young guys on the field on a Friday night, whether it be week 1 or week 12, that's a positive. And so now you got tape on them, for next year. They can look at, they're in the offseason. They're not watching the seniors playing. They're watching themselves playing, what they did well, what they need to correct, during the offseason and next football season. And anytime you can get them on the field, they deserve to play because they practice extremely hard all week long. They're there. And then secondly, they can see themselves, what's the truth on tape. and try and correct things that they're doing wrong, and certainly playing at a high level like they did against Aurora's offense. We were very pleased.
So this game was a lot different than the first week of the playoffs against New Philadelphia. I think you only had 7 total drives against the Quakers offensively. It felt like you had 7 in the first half there. So, talk about the game a little bit. It was sped up, but you guys kept it under control.
Yeah, one of the things that really helped us as far as possessions were concerned, we had 3 interceptions. And then cut their drive short, and then we were able to get going. And the turnover margin in any ball game is huge. Playoff, you just magnify it. And those 3 turnovers that defense caused, allowed us to extend the lead.
All right, we move on to the Ursuline Irish. This is going to be a fun one, Coach, on Friday night. A very competitive Ursuline team, 2 versus 3 in the regional semifinal. There are going to be a lot of emotions. There's a lot of kids that know each other on both sidelines. How do you keep your team in check before a big emotional game like this on Friday?
It's just a playoff game for us. It's a regional semifinals, no matter who you play. We've gone to Columbus for regional semifinals. We've gone to Cleveland for regional semifinals. It just so happens you're playing a local team, but it's still the regional semifinals. So if you want to move on, you better control your emotions no matter who you're playing. And because the more 15 yardage you get, the more penalties that hurt your team, the chances of you being successful are going to be diminished.
There are a lot of aspects of this Ursuline team that could hurt you in multiple ways. I want to start up front. This is a very experienced offensive line. They got 5 seniors up front. 2 of the guys are going to play Division I football at the next level. So, watching their tape, what kind of challenges do you think they present up front?
They present a bunch of challenges, believe me. And you're right. They could talk all they want about the skill kids that they have, and they got tremendous skill. But if you don't have people up front moving people, you're going to have trouble moving the football. And the 5 guys they have been playing for 2 or 3 years. Very big, very physical, use their hands extremely well in run blocking and pass blocking. And, we got our hands full. There's no doubt about that, because, if you could slow the run game down, they certainly have, plan B with DC Farrell and Will Burney and the Manning kid. There's just so many weapons that they have at their disposal. It's going to be a major challenge for us.
Now, this is a challenge that you've seen before, though. I mean, you look at New Philadelphia, they had 2 big tackles. Last week against Aurora, their left tackle was one of the biggest guys you've faced all season long. So, how much does that help playing some of the best teams around the Northeastern Ohio area when you play, a big dog like this in Ursuline?
Well, with all due respect to Aurora and New Philly, they're not Ursuline. Okay. Those guys certainly were big and physical and have helped us prepare. We're facing a different animal Friday night.
Christian Lynch is the running back, one of the best in the Valley. Him and DC Farrell, you talked about in the backfield on tape. When you look at a guy like Lynch, a lot of similarities between him and the back you saw last week in Tenorio. Both are very physical, but Lynch is a little bit quicker and agile on his feet. So when you look at him, what are some things you need to do to bottle him up?
We got to be gap sound. If he sees a crease, he's gone. And that could be inside, it could be outside on their outside zone plays and Dave Reed plays that we call them. And, the things that we've charted throughout the week is that of the 30 touchdowns that we charted, all right, 20 of them are explosive plays. Explosive plays for us are 15 yards or more. So they got 20 touchdowns rushing, passing, or on special teams of 15 yards or more. It is going to be critical that our defense is in the right gaps, okay, and forcing them to get their shoulders turned east and west rather than north and south, and be great tacklers. Because if they have explosive plays Friday night, we're going to be in trouble.
They had a lot of explosive plays against Talmadge last week to come back in that third quarter. I think 3 out of their 4 touchdowns were over 40 yards, so some big plays there. One of them being a punt return for a touchdown. You always preach on special teams and how big it is in the postseason. What do you want to do special teams wise on Friday night?
Not punt. That's number one. If we can get away with that, we'll try and do that. But when you punt, it's going to be critical that we place the ball where we tell our guys to place it. You can't miss hit. If you're going to aim it down the middle of the field, you can't miss hit it to the right side because the coverage ain't going to be there. If you want to aim it to the right side and you miss hit it to the middle of the field, our coverage is going to break down. And they're good enough back to the Bernie kid, DC Farrell when he's back there. They're going to take it to the house anytime. So special teams, we spend a lot more time this week on special teams than we normally do.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize how good the kickers are for this Canfield team. Joel Mysick on any kickoff can kick it out of the end zone.
Yeah.
And Ali Shalash, a man that has really come onto the scene here in the last couple of weeks, punting the football very well for your team. You know, how valuable are those pieces in games like this on Friday?
Tremendously valuable. You don't get to this level without great special team play. And you're right. Joel has been with us for 3 years now, and he's just improved every year. And this year he's having a tremendous year, and just was named the first team all AAC kicker and deserving of that award. And, you know, he's going to have to do a great job kicking the football Friday night. Ali, first year punter, the time he spends after our special team session and practice to stay there and continue to kick, continue to punt, and trying to place the ball and get comfortable where it needs to be placed. You know, I just credit to him, his work ethic, and he's again improved as the year has gone on. You know, we need him to have his best night of the year.
Very valuable question for you here. I have a lot of people asking me throughout the week, is this the first Canfield Ursuline postseason matchup that you can remember?
Well, according to our records, we played in 1983 and 84.
Okay.
And we never played in a postseason.
Gotcha. All right. Talked about special teams, going to be big. We always ask you 3 keys of the game. What are the other 2 for Canfield to beat Ursuline on Friday night?
We need to stop explosive plays. If they have explosive plays, we're going to be in trouble. This can't be a shootout.
Yeah.
We've got to keep it low scoring as much as possible and find a way to keep that high explosive offense on the sideline. And that means establishing drives and sustaining drives. And then when you get a chance, you know, you got to be able to put points on the board.
Coach, we appreciate your time as always. We're going to have your leading tackler coming up next, and Don Marzano. We wish you the best of luck on Friday night, a big one against the Ursuline Irish in the regional semifinals. So, Coach,
appreciate it, Rich.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to Don Marzano coming up from Coca's Pizza here in a sec.